Hello and welcome. My name is Ashley Wright and I'm your host for today's show, Your United Way. Our show is all about connecting you with your community, and I can think of no better way to connect with your community than to volunteer. Our show is going to focus today on an event that the United Way put on called Project United. The goal of that project was to send over 150 volunteers out into the community to work with nonprofit agencies here in Paducah and McCracken County. So I've asked three guests who have three very different perspectives on that event to meet with us today. So I'm going to allow you all to introduce yourself. We'll start with you, Sherry.
I'm Sherry Anderson, the Vice President of Learning Initiatives at West Kentucky Community and Technical College, and I'm also a member of the United Way Board.
Hi, I'm Greg Ramage with Atmos Energy. I'm the Operations Supervisor there.
Great, thanks.
And I'm Pam Truitt. I'm the Executive Director of Family Service Society. We're one of the United Way partner agencies.
Well, thank you all so much for being here today. And as I said, I know you all played very different roles in the project that we had on September 11th. So I want to just kind of start off, I guess, with talking with you, Greg, because you obviously were a big part of that day. Atmos played a huge role. Why don't you tell us a little bit about why Atmos Energy was involved with Project United to begin with?
Atmos Energy is a local gas company in the town, and we want to get out and help our community and be a part of our community in a positive way, not just getting a gas bill each month, but getting out and showing people that, you know, we're here to help, we're part of this community, and we want to be involved in everything that's going on around there. We have a little cooking team or trailer that's set up. We go around and do some cooking from time to time for different organizations, and the United Way is out there helping several different organizations, so we wanted to just be a part of that and do what we could do.
What did your guys do at the event? I know there was multiple things that they were involved in.
We had, in fact, everybody from our company, and we're based in Paducah, but we serve Metropolis, Illinois, and Brookport, and Calvert City areas too. Everybody had a part. We had several doing the cooking. We cooked hamburgers and hot dogs for all the participants that came to and be involved in Project United. And then we also went to Paducah Day Nursery and done some landscaping with them to help that group out over there.
Well, you all did a fabulous job at both cooking and the work that you did at the Day Nursery. Talk a little bit about what your experience was like at the Paducah Day Nursery.
Well, I met with Cindy at the Paducah Day Nursery, and she had some issues. She was wanting to put some mulch in the back play area for the kids, and we got to looking, and Cindy got to talking to us and telling us her needs and wants, and looking at the place, and we've seen some things that we might be able to do a little bit more of, you know, instead of just the mulch. We had the opportunity to talk with Crystal at James Sanders Nursery, and they partnered with us to come in, and man, they just did a heck of a job supplying the plants, supplying the labor, and worked with us to do just a complete makeover. And if you've ever seen the Paducah Day Nursery then and then see it now, you can see really a big difference. So.
It's an amazing difference, and I was actually just there, and that people couldn't stop talking about it. It's not just changing some plants. It really changed the whole feel of that environment. That's there. Right. It was amazing.
Everybody was really wanted to do what they could do to make a big difference and seeing that thing, you know, and mostly when men get out, they want to do something that you can see, something that looks good. And talking with Sanders Nursery over there, they had the ideas. They came out and done the measuring and just worked with us. And I mean, I'd have to take my hat off to them. They were the ones that really made it look that well. We just kind of helped them along and done some digging and things like that. But the parents that were coming in to pick up the children, they were grateful. We had some ladies that were teaming up with us there that was reading to the kids in there while we were working. Kids were seeing some backhoes and dump trucks that they hadn't seen before. So it was a great day for everybody, and everybody really enjoyed it.
What do you think, and I'm going to pose this to everybody, but what was the most surprising thing about that day? And it might be different for all three of you, coming from three very different places, but what surprised you the most?
I think I was really surprised by the participation. There were 150 volunteers that came out, and I think that whenever they came into the organizations, they knew what we did, but not until they actually got in there and physically helped us and saw what we did, they really understand kind of what our day is like in a nonprofit world.
Yeah.
And so I was really impressed by the number of people that came out, and once they came in, they were so willing to help us do whatever we needed to. And Ashley, your husband Sam, actually came and volunteered at our agency, and we were so appreciative of all their work. And I think it kind of opened their eyes to what we deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I also think Paducah and McCracken County can be very proud of the participation they had that day. For 150 people who, several of them may not have been directly involved with partner agencies, maybe other than making a contribution to United Way, but they came out that day, showed support for the partner agencies, and we're trying to make a positive impact on those agencies. So I was very pleased with the turnout and very proud of the community support that we had.
Yeah.
I agree totally. I think that a lot of the people that came out to work that day can come out and do the physical type activities and get out and hands-on and learn so much more than just giving a $1 or $2. And in today's economy, it's harder and harder to get donations for things, but when people have the opportunity to work and do things side by side with other people. We worked with some people from the hospital that I thought was just ordinary people like me, and they were the vice presidents and things like that were just out there spreading mulch just like we were. So the opportunity to get out and work together, I think, draws us all a little closer together.
Well, I think you bring up a good point that, times are tight and as far as money goes, and people may be holding on to those dollars a little bit more than they may have in the past. And we forget that our time is often just as valuable as the dollars. We did a really conservative estimate of the amount of money it would have cost if those agencies had to pay for somebody to come in and do those. And some of the agencies actually already had bids from some people because they were going to have to get this work done, and it was going to have to come out of their budget, which means it's going to have to come out of services that they could have otherwise provided to clients. And they estimated over $12,000 worth of services done in just a really short amount of time. And that really, we do not think that includes everything that James Sanders did for the Paducah Day Nursery. So you can think about that as an enormous value to the agencies, and it's huge. And we don't think about that. I think sometimes we don't realize how important our time is and how valuable it is to many of the agencies. And I'm sure, Pam, you can speak to the importance of volunteers.
Oh, definitely. Family Service Society has 3 employees, and I'm one of those employees, and I'm the executive director. And it just seems like there's not enough time in the day to get everything done.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for the volunteers that come in and help us with our Christmas assistance program, taking applications for that program, volunteers that come in and just help us serve the clients that are coming in on a day-to-day basis, sorting through donations, whatever it may be, helping us with fundraising events. We could not do the things that we do without that volunteer help, because 3 people couldn't begin to start doing all of that by themselves. And of course, we do have a board of directors that are volunteers, and they give us a lot of great support, but it takes people and it takes hands to get out and actually do that physical work sometimes.
Greg and Sherry, you're both obviously working for organizations that are not necessarily partner agencies. Both of you all were able to participate in Project United. Many of your staff, your coworkers were there as well. What would you say to the businesses that say, why is this important? Why is it important that we allow our employees to be involved in this? Why is it important that we let them even go, when during a work day to participate in something like this, or not just Project United, but volunteer events that may go on throughout the year?
Well, I think it's really important that we know the importance of making a difference in our community. The college supports that. I was a part of a 5-member team from the college that went to Red Cross. We not only went there, we painted 2 rooms, 2 offices while we were there, but we learned about the Red Cross and some of the things that they do. You may think of the Red Cross as the blood mobile, but we learned about different initiatives that the Red Cross does, helping families who've gone through a disaster or a home that's burned, helping our servicemen and women get communications to them, talking with families that have loved ones who are serving in the armed forces. So it's just important to know that you give back to the community, and I think by people being aware of that, it broadens that perspective for the whole community and for people to be knowledgeable of what's going on in our area and the need for these services. I think sometimes we don't think of all the needs that are in our community, and so knowing about the partner agencies and the services they provide, and when we learn of things in our community that need to be done, we know where to refer people to, and I think that's so important for us to keep in mind.
Yeah. What about you, Greg?
Well, Atmos Energy is based on customer service. Our culture is to provide excellent customer service. And before you can provide excellent customer service, you've got to get to know what the needs are. I can be a good customer to you. I can serve you as a good utility customer. But when it comes down to the people that are needing, the people that are wanting these things, a lot of those they won't ask for things. They won't know, and they're looking at people that they don't really know. So we try to get involved in our communities. We split up our areas with the guys that work in the areas in certain neighborhoods, and to where they work there all the time. So hopefully the customers in that neighborhood can get to know them and be on a one-on-one name basis. If they need something, we can help them in that way. So to do that helps us to provide the customer service that we need to, and also to have that trusting spirit, that people need anymore. If you see somebody walking around your house in the early morning hours or reading meters in today's world, you just don't know what's going on for sure. So these guys, they get to meet the people there and get to know them, and they're looking forward to seeing them. So we think that helps all the way around. And to help the people that, most of the people that are hurting right now, like I said earlier, are kind of prideful. They don't want to have to ask. They worked hard and things down on their luck or whatever it may be, but they need us to lift them up instead of kick them when they're down. And we believe in a family type atmosphere at Atmos Energy to try to help whoever we can help.
I remember I had a real distinct moment at Project United when everybody started coming back, and for those of you watching who did not participate, everybody was sent out to volunteer, and then we came back, and thanks to Atmos Energy we had this great free meal, which was wonderful. And I remember this gentleman walking in, and he looked like a deer in headlights, and I was like, well, how was your experience? And he just said to me, I had no idea there was this kind of need. I live in a completely different world. Right. And it was one of those aha moments for him. And for me, working at the United Way, sometimes you don't realize what people don't know about the needs in this community, because that's what we see and hear all the time. But the need is huge. And it's important for people to understand that there are ways to give back and there are ways to get involved, and not just to kind of stick their head in the sand and pretend it doesn't exist. And Family Service Society, I know right now, is getting ready to get even busier than it usually is because of your Christmas program. And I was wondering if you might just take the opportunity, Pam, to talk about what that is and how people in the community might get involved.
Sure. Every year in November, Family Service Society takes applications for families needing assistance at Christmas. And this year we're taking them the first week of November. What we do is we get the families and we screen them just to determine that they are in need of Christmas assistance. Then we try to find sponsors, businesses, anyone that might want to sponsor one of these families at Christmas, and we try to find sponsors for those families. What Christmas assistance involves would be Christmas dinner, gifts for children, clothing, that type of thing. We're always looking for people to help support us in that. Last year we had about 600 families, 600 applications that were taken.
Wow.
We ended up getting all of those sponsored except for about 150, and then Family Service Society took those, and through donations we were able to provide Christmas dinner. We got toys through the Toys for Tots programs and other donations of toys and clothing to be able to provide that assistance for the other families. We're also expecting to see an increase this year because of the economy. I think more people are going to need the assistance. And we just encourage anybody that's watching, if you're interested in becoming a sponsor for a family this year at Christmas, please contact us at our office, and we'd be happy to pair you up with one of the families that we have.
Now, if we were all kind of discussing this before the show started, but if a business like Atmos or WKCTC is interested in sponsoring, businesses can sponsor families?
Yes, we have businesses, individuals, civic clubs and groups, or different organizations that may take on a family. And what they typically do is they will call our office. We will pair them up with a family. We'll give them an application that shows clothing sizes for the children, how many are in the household. They can then shop for that family. They can be anonymous if they want to, or they can choose to deliver it to that family. So it's purely your preference and how you want to provide that Christmas assistance to that family.
And how much on average is someone going to spend per family? I guess that's going to depend obviously on the size of the family.
Exactly. It's going to depend on the size of the family. What we ask is that you provide a Christmas dinner and more food too, if you choose, to help them just stock their pantry. At least 2 outfits per children, and at least 1 outfit per children in the household, and at least 1 or 2 toys per child. And sometimes people choose to give a gift to the parents in the family as well. So it's hard to really put a dollar amount on that because, I would say on average, $150, $200 for a medium-sized family.
I know we were talking earlier, and you said that your group had kind of looked at background checks and keeps up with the ones that are getting these gifts. You said something about maybe the churches, if they would run that through you or make sure that,
Right.
and that way you're getting everybody's getting something instead of some are getting 2 or 3 from different organizations, that we wouldn't miss anybody that way. So
Right. We
that's a good idea.
we have a list, and we call it our clearinghouse. We, along with Salvation Army, take the majority of applications for Christmas assistance, and we put them all in a database. And we ask churches or other organizations that are going to maybe sponsor a family at Christmas that they check with us on that list just to make sure that they're not getting served twice. Right. And whenever a family does apply for Christmas assistance, we ask to see proof of income, proof of living expense, because we want to determine that family does have a need for that assistance. And so we do that screening for that to determine that need.
And you do the screening for the Salvation Army as well, is that correct?
Well, they take their applications, they do their screening for the applications they take, and then we also do the screening for the applications we take. Now, all the applications go into the list for us to distribute to different churches and organizations to look to make sure they're not also serving those people that we have.
Now, if someone wants to volunteer at Family Service Society, is it something that they've got to do, make a commitment for every week, or what are you looking for?
No. You can choose how you want to volunteer, really. Whenever you come in, we like to be able to tell you a little bit about what our organization does. We usually have you fill out an application, a volunteer application that gives us your contact information, the dates that you're available, and also gives us an opportunity to get to know your skills and your talents. We have people that want to be able to do direct service with some of the clients that we have, and there's people that don't really feel comfortable with that. They may have another talent. They may have a talent with computers, or we have a person that knits lap blankets and donates those at Christmas to the elderly. So it can encompass a lot of different, volunteerism can encompass a lot of different terms, really.
Yeah.
And it depends on the person and how they want to give back. And we certainly value our board members and the people that help us go out into the community and tell others about what we do. And it depends on you and how much you want to how much time you want to invest into it.
Well, we often get calls at the United Way about people who want to volunteer, and so I do definitely want to put a little plug in for our volunteer coordinator, whose name is Mallory Healy, and she is doing a fabulous job at connecting people in the community with volunteer opportunities, and she was a big part of coordinating Project United. So if there are people that are interested in volunteering, you obviously can contact Pam directly at Family Service Society, or get in touch with Mallory at our office, and she can connect you with a variety of places in the community that still need volunteers. We still have projects that we're not able to complete on September 11th when we did the official Project United. So she's been touching base with people to say, hey, will you come out and finish painting this, or doing this little job. And I know, Greg, we actually talked yesterday, eHomes, which is a program that the Senior Citizen Center puts together, where they go out and help provide basic maintenance to elderly, low-income senior citizens in the community who own their own home. And one of the things she was saying is some of them just need new deadbolts put on. And how easy would that be for
Really,
your guys
right.
to go out and
Stop by there and take care of one a day or something like that's not a big issue. So again, the communication and getting people in the right spots really helps.
What do you all feel like the overall, I'm specifically thinking of you, Sherry, as a board member, and then also working for an organization that supports the United Way. What do you all think we need to be doing to help educate people about the volunteer opportunities in the community?
I think having Mallory, a coordinator, being able to put a face with a name, and just promotion of it, like this program, other ways and means through the various organizations, just like we were talking before the program about things that Atmos can do. I'm thinking of things that as the college we can do. So I think it's just an ongoing process of the awareness of it. And those of us who know that have to get that message out, because that's the important thing, I think, within the community, is just letting people know that there is a need and how you can go about doing things. And it doesn't have to be an all-day event. It can be just, as you said, Greg, on the way home, doing something. So I think if people are aware of these things, they're more apt to volunteer and help take care of things. And it's not always a huge time commitment or money commitment.
Right.
It's it can be something very, very simple that we can do. But the awareness of it, keeping our name out there, United Way, and the partner agencies, and what we're trying to do in the community.
I hear people, Pam, you and I have talked about, recruiting board members or recruiting committee members, and a lot of times you'll hear people say, I'm not qualified to be a board member, or what could it, and people don't realize that, yeah, you are. You're committed to this community, you're committed to this organization, you want to, you want to see things in this community turn around or help people in a certain way. And a lot of times organizations are looking for those skills, and we don't think we're qualified, but you absolutely are qualified if you have that heart and are interested in doing something.
Definitely. And whenever we're looking to recruit board members, we're really looking for diversity. We want people with all different types of backgrounds and perspectives into what it is that we're doing. And, we really value the input that our board members give to us. And I know for our board, you typically serve a 3-year term, and you help with the different activities that we do throughout the year, as well as our business meetings. And so I think people are really surprised at what they can give back to serving as a member of a board.
Just as we're wrapping up, I'm just wondering if you all are planning on participating in next year's Project United. We are really looking forward to that and believe that it will be a project that will be even larger than we had this year. And so I'm so grateful for all that you all have done, for your commitment both as volunteers and the work that you do every day, Pam. I think you deserve a real pat on the back for what you do. And I know that you couldn't do it without people just like Greg and Sherry. So I hope that you all will be here next year to talk about what your experience was and really appreciate what you've done for us. Thank you so much for being here. Was there anything you all want to say as we wrap up the show?
I just really want to say what a great experience Project United was for our agency. And this was the first year that we've really done a project like this. And we just came away from that day just with a great attitude, and we made some new relationships and developed some new friendships, and it was a great idea, and we just hope more people get involved with it next year.
I totally agree. We really enjoyed doing it and being a part, like I said, whatever it may be, cooking or the landscaping, but just being able to say that, we were a part of that, and we really enjoyed that and hope to be back next year.
Great.
We'll be there. We all enjoyed it. We had people at, I think, 3 different agencies, and all of them really enjoyed what they did, and I hope our participation will grow next year.
Great. Well, thank you all so much again for your commitment to not only the United Way, but to this community. And thank you all for joining us. I look forward to seeing you again next time.